Okay, just want to say thank you so much for coming tonight. It is a pleasure having you. Tonight, the whole event, Crypto Pioneer, and every edition of Crypto Pioneer, just to give you an ideation of what the idea behind Crypto Pioneer is. So, you might be thinking, oh, Crypto Pioneer, what's about Saad? What is it going to do? What is it about? To keep it simple, it's the journey of the individual and what they've gone through to where they are today. So the idea is, of course, for you to intake and take everything that they have basically learned, and hopefully you can follow their steps to their journey, their pitfalls, their success, and of course, they will also go to talk about how are they currently taking steps to improve the ecosystem in the Middle East. And basically, I want you to put your hands together one more time and give a big round of applause to my very good friend, my honored guest, Saad. Please, sir, the stage is yours.
First of all, thank you very much, Jerry, for that beautiful introduction, and thank you for having me. I've been, in the past year and a half, on stage quite a lot, but most of the time I'm hosting, I'm talking about other people's projects, or I'm talking about an initiative. Today, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about myself and my story. And I'm very glad and very happy to see such a beautiful, full room here just to listen to me talk. So thank you guys all for showing up. Round of applause for you guys. Thank you very much.
Saad, do you have the clicker? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I have it.
You got it. Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys.
So, this is about my journey into Web3, but to start, I'm going to give you just a little bit of background about myself and how I got here to Dubai, basically. So, I'm Palestinian by origin, born and raised in Germany. I was there until I was about 11 years old, lived for a couple of years in the UK, and I've been in Dubai for about 15 years, so this is home to me by now. Just by a quick show of hands, and you guys don't count, I know you've been here all your lives, but who's been here for about 1 year? You guys? Okay. Who's been here for 2 to 3 years? 2 to 3 years, okay. Who's been here for more than 5 years? Okay. Okay, we've got quite a lot of Dubai OGs in the room. Usually with these crypto and blockchain events, it actually turns out to be that, you know, the majority of the room is fresh, is new, because we've seen in the past 2 years people move from all over the world to the UAE to basically build their projects over here. But again, this is a little bit more about my story and my professional story, so to say. And that started when I graduated university. You see over here, everyone's very excited. A lot of them thought I wouldn't make it, but I did. I graduated as a mechanical engineer, so I studied engineering and management. And I did so not because I wanted to be an engineer, but because I appreciate the approach of an engineer. I appreciate the systematic approach that engineers have to solving a problem. Everything has a step-by-step solution. And I respect the way that engineers have applied this in the business sense. So what I aimed to gain from my engineering degree was a different perspective on how to run a business, basically. But having said that, I also didn't just want to completely dismiss this whole industry, and I gave it a chance. So when I graduated, I worked on a project with Majid Al Futtaim. I had the opportunity to intern with them. Majid Al Futtaim basically are the ones that have built Deira City Center, Mall of Emirates, Mirdif City Center. And at the time they were building a project in Sharjah called Al Zahia City Center. And I was present there at the very early stages of that project when they were laying the groundwork for that. So I learned quite a lot there. I learned the fact that a majority of the development here is very much built on the groundwork. I mean, it is generally, but over here you've got bodies of water underground, lots of still water that needs to be pumped out in order to build strong foundations for the buildings, right? And I also learned the fact that that industry wasn't really for me. I saw that the career progression is quite slow. You know, the market is very diluted, so it wasn't really something that I wanted to pursue further. And now, my first step into crypto. In about 2016, 2017, I got my first Ethereum. And how I got it was because my brother was very heavily involved in the Web3 industry, and I actually have him to thank for me being here in the space right now. So just for a bit of background, my brother is an ex-IBM employee. He was there for about 14 years. He shifted his career completely into Web3. He was part of the first movement of the local ecosystem. And in 2017, he helped me set up my first Jax wallet on my iPhone 6. I downloaded the wallet. He sent me a few Ethereum. And he's like, you keep these. Don't spend them, just keep them. And wait where they go. I, like a good boy, I noted down my seed phrase on a piece of paper. I hid the piece of paper in my sock drawer. We moved houses and I lost the piece of paper. The phone died and there goes my Ethereum. But yeah, I think everyone here has a story just like that, right? Yeah. So then, moving forward, after my job in engineering, I moved into the space of emerging technologies. And my first step into emerging technologies was working with a fintech incubator and accelerator back in 2017, 2018, which was the beginning of the fintech revolution over here. Fintech started to become mainstream in the UAE around that time. You've had buy now, pay later platforms, digital banks, and so on. They all started back then in 2017. I had the opportunity to work with a company called Fintech Galaxy. We were stationed out of Area 2071, which, if you guys don't know, is in the Emirates Towers. And it's actually one of the earliest government-hosted startup ecosystems over here in the UAE. So, Area 2071 sits here, and the Ministry of AI sits just across the road from that. So, you know, we're all talking about AI today. Dubai actually had a focus on AI, on developing AI ecosystems way back then already. So they've already built that groundwork and built that infrastructure. There was quite a lot of startups that are building in that space, in that area. I had the pleasure of sitting among them, learning from them. And the really fun thing about the job that I had with Fintech Galaxy was that, for a bit of background, the founder of the company was an ex-financial journalist with Thomson Reuters for about 10 years. So she had quite a lot of connections and she had a huge network in the financial space. She left her corporate job and leveraged her connections in that space to support startups to be able to work with corporations. So in my first week working with Fintech Galaxy, I sat across the table of the innovation manager of Emirates NBD, for example. I sat with the CTO of National Bank of Fujairah, and I was just sitting there and absorbing and learning. And what I learned there is that startup ecosystems are all over the world, all over the place. We've got a huge tech hub over here. And a problem that startups face a lot of the time is the fact that they're not able to translate their vision to the corporations. So what we did with Fintech Galaxy is we enabled a playground for these fintech startups to be able to build products and projects for the big financial institutions and the corporations. One example of such is that we ran an innovation challenge with National Bank of Fujairah, where they had an open call for startups to come and apply. We helped them filter the startups, and we helped the startups build the projects for National Bank of Fujairah, which were then actually put into practice. So at that point, I learned that I want to be in emerging technologies. It's a fast-paced environment. It suits me. There's something new every day. And then I had a corporate job for about a year. I worked as a data analyst. And at that point, I decided, you know what? I don't want to be sitting behind a laptop doing Excel sheets, financial projections, this, that, and the third. And I envisioned something. I left that job and I had a very specific role in mind. I wanted to become an ecosystem manager in a startup ecosystem. So I went on a hunt. I started looking around. And luckily enough, my brother was actually at an event of the opening of the DMCC Crypto Center. You see over here, this was back in 2020, 2021. You see all the guys are wearing masks, so this was still in the middle of COVID. And let's just take a second and see and note that how commendable it is that even though there was an international health crisis, the UAE was focused on building and developing an ecosystem that is friendly for crypto and blockchain startups. Now, the DMCC Crypto Center is a space and a co-working space, an environment for crypto and blockchain companies to come and establish in the UAE. I had the pleasure to be introduced to the founder, Ralph Labishnig. I actually had COVID myself at the time that I was interviewing for this job. Luckily, I got the position, and then in the coming year, I was helping companies from all over the world to transition here into the UAE. And you know what? I can say whatever I want to say, but I'm a Dubai kid at heart. And it was really nice that I got the chance to display to companies from all over the world the opportunity that the UAE presents for young businesses and emerging technologies. So in that time with the DMCC Crypto Center, I helped more than 400 crypto and blockchain companies establish here in the UAE. It was the bull market. It was peak season for Bitcoin and blockchain and crypto. And it came to a point where myself and the team, which was about 3 people at the time, were onboarding a company a day. So there would be month on month that would pass where we would be onboarding a new company every day. And I picked up at the time a research as well. There was something called the Crypto Oasis directory, which at the time had only 300 companies. That's back then. Today, the Crypto Oasis directory has 1,800 companies. And what are these companies? These are companies that are working in the Web3 space over here in the UAE in one capacity or the other. 70% of them are native crypto and blockchain companies that are building in Web3 and that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Web3. The other 30% are your traditional companies similar to Damak, who have a metaverse department, similar to Emirates Airlines, who have launched an NFT. So you've got access to a database which displays the whole UAE ecosystem. That's, by the way, free of charge. You can access it on the Crypto Oasis website. It's something that the team worked tirelessly on, and so did I. And here's an overview. So this is a map of the UAE with some of the top players in the different segments of the ecosystem. We did an ecosystem report. We did 2 ecosystem reports together with Crypto Oasis, actually. This is from the latest one. And you see that you've got companies from all over the scopes. You've got university and institutions, you've got economic zones, digital asset infrastructure, DeFi, NFT platforms, metaverse, GameFi. All these companies are building in the UAE. They came here to take advantage of the favorable local infrastructure. And if any of you guys have ever heard me or my brother talk on stage, you've heard us talk about talent, capital, and infrastructure. Because I believe that any good ecosystem is built on these 3. Talent is people like Chris, people like Kareem, who are building in the Web3 space, who are building projects, and people from all over the world that have flocked here in the past year to take advantage of the local infrastructure. The infrastructure meaning the regulatory infrastructure, which has been welcoming and favorable for crypto and blockchain companies, but also the physical infrastructure when it comes to office space, licenses, and whatnot. And capital is one that we obviously can't ignore. If we're building, we have to raise. And the UAE is actually one of the few places from all around the world where the sovereign wealth is investing in Web3. The sovereign wealth funds have a vested interest to grow the local ecosystem and bring more projects here, basically. Yeah, so moving on. As part of Crypto Oasis, building that ecosystem, having reached a critical mass, we started to build around that, and we started to build associating services around that. One of those things where I was very heavily involved, hands-on building, and very much enjoyed is the art community. We host a meetup every Friday. I see a lot of familiar faces that have been there. If you haven't been there, we're there every Friday at the social district. And the idea of the art meetup started around this time last year. It's summer, it's quiet, there's not many people here. It's not event season, you know, October, November, there's events every single day, you know. But in the summer, things are a bit quieter. However, we knew, because we were hands-on involved, we knew that there was projects that have come here in the past few months at the beginning of the year that were not ready to travel away for summer because they're busy building over here, right? So we created a community and a platform for these projects to interact, for these projects to cooperate, and to build their community. Art is a community of communities. So if you have a project and you have a community, you can bring that to art and scale it through art from the other associated projects and communities. So here's just a quick recap video of what we host there. We host weekly presentations. We bring 2 projects on stage to present what they're building every week. The idea is to create more awareness for these people, to help these people tap into the local ecosystem and the local community. We've hosted more than 60 meetups by now. And we've also developed that format slightly further to also offer alternative opportunities. Thank you. We need to get you on stage there too, sir. So we also developed new formats from the art community. So we built something called Art Talks. And Art Talks is something that we host every other Tuesday at the Theater of Digital Arts. It's a bit more of a TED Talks format, similar. I mean, no, I'm not giving a TED Talk here at all, but it's more a format where people come and tell their stories and how they started to build in Web3. It's more so focused on the creative side of the business. And it's also hosted in a very special place called the Theater of Digital Arts in Madinat Jumeirah. Usually you'd need to pay a 50 dirham ticket to get in there, but on every second Tuesday of the month, you're free to join us for free to hear some stories from the Web3 ecosystem. We've actually got an Art Talks coming up next Tuesday. I'm sure Jerry will be happy to share that in the group for anyone who's interested to join. So, where am I now? So I've got my experience building the bridge between startups and corporates. I've got my experience of helping projects from all around the world onboard into the local ecosystem, helping them navigate the local regulatory environment. And I've got my experience from building a Web3 community, and we all know community is key. So where to next for me? That's where the ICP.Hub comes in. Oh, so one more thing that I wanted to share before that is actually an initiative by the DIFC called the Dubai AI and Web3 Campus. Similarly to what was being built in the DMCC Crypto Center, the DIFC have now also opened their doors for crypto and blockchain and Web3 related companies. So that being said, I then decided, hey, you know what, what's next? And I sat and I thought about it for a bit. And I did a little bit of a study of the local ecosystem. Who are the players that are active in this space? Who are the players that are not yet here that need to be here? And at the time, Crypto Oasis had a partnership with the Dfinity Foundation, which is the foundation behind the Internet Computer Protocol, a layer 1 blockchain, a top 30 listed token by market cap, a top 10 layer 1 smart contract platform. And the Internet Computer Protocol had the intention to come and build a presence here in the UAE. And through my connections with Crypto Oasis and my work with Crypto Oasis, I was lucky enough to be selected as the co-founder of the ICP.Hub in GCC, which we've now been building for 2 months. And what is a hub? What is the plan of the hub? The plan of the hub is to build the presence of the Internet Computer Protocol here in the UAE. How we plan to do that is through educating, through hosting hackathons and innovation challenges and bringing startups into the ecosystem. We aim to also build corporate partnerships and build use cases with corporations, because ICP is actually quite a unique blockchain. If some of you guys don't know it, just by a show of hands, how many people know ICP here? Okay, good share of the room. But if you don't, I invite you to reach out to me, have a chat. I'm more than happy to tell you guys more. But just on a high level, as a layer 1 blockchain, ICP is focused on building everything 100% on-chain. In comparison to other layer 1s, which are focused on building the application layer of the Internet Computer Protocol aims to build the whole internet on the blockchain. That means that down to the data storage, down to the data hosting, it's all on-chain. To store a JPG on the Ethereum chain would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm not joking. To store one on ICP is a less than $1 sum. Another unique thing about the Internet Computer Protocol is that it's actually the greenest blockchain, and we've got an initiative called the Proof of Green, which assesses all of the power that's gone into sustaining the blockchain and explains how it is actually green. Just for context, a transaction on the Internet Computer Protocol takes 1/4 of the energy of a Google search. So just to put that into perspective. And the idea is we want to build a way for the Internet Computer Protocol to touch every single stakeholder in the local ecosystem. And who are those stakeholders? Those stakeholders are the projects and the startups. So with them, we aim to educate them on how to build on that blockchain, what the benefits of building on that blockchain are, and we have an active grants program to fund the development of that on the ICP blockchain. Investors and collectors are obviously the people that are funding everything. You've got the service providers, you've got the corporates, you've got education and research institutes, and governments and associations. Those are the 6 stakeholders of the ecosystem, and we've designed a way to approach every single one of those. And I believe in one way or the other, everyone here has some association to one of these stakeholders. So if you guys are interested, I invite you to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to tell you more about how we aim to approach this. So just so all of you guys know as well, and this can apply to anyone here, not just people who are building projects, but also people who are building communities like Jerry and Hash. So we've got 2 different grants programs. We've got the developer grant program, which is specifically for project, but we've also got the community grant program, which enables any and every one of you, if you wish, to host an event, for example, or to host an education session about ICP, and that would then be funded through this grants procedure. So, that being said, the ICP Hub is now 2 months old, and we're just at the beginning of our journey, but we've already seen a lot of very welcoming signs from the local ecosystem. I think, for me, very much everything has aligned, from my experience to my connections to the people around me, for me to be here today. And I'd like to thank every one of you guys for coming and listening. And I hope that in one way or the other, you're inspired to follow your passion. And if you are doing so, continue to do so. Thank you very much. I'll be here for the rest of the night, so I don't want to do this formal questions format, but I'm happy to have a chat. I'm here for the next hour or 2, so if you have any questions, feel free. Thank you, Jerry.